Hey planners, it's Tay of Shantae Plans and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be sharing my planner favorites from the month of July. I did this video for the first time in June and I got a really good response, so thank you all so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed this type of video. And so essentially what I've done is I've narrowed it down to my top 5 things from the month of July that I really enjoyed using in my planner throughout that month. And so it was really fun sort of looking back and seeing what I was using, what I really liked, and what stood out to me. And we have to start off with this washi tape from Simply Watercolor Co. And it's this grid washi tape that I used in my July dashboard. And this was really interesting because washi tape for me, I feel like, is a completely underutilized category in my sort of planner shopping array of categories. And it's because I pretty much use the washi that comes in the kits in my planner for my weekly spreads. I don't do washi weekend banners, and so I really only utilize washi tape on my dashboard and monthly spreads, and then like not always even in my monthly spreads, because this one I used a kit from Sadie Stickers, so I didn't even use my own washi stash for this spread. But for months where I don't use a kit, I'll utilize my own washi tape in my monthly spread and my dashboard spreads. But I think because of that, washi tape is something that I don't always think about. However, when I do think about it and when I am shopping for it, what I try to find are tapes that are really versatile and that I can use and pair with a lot of different things, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky with washi tape because it's really easy to fall in love with like all of the beautiful different like prints and florals and designs and things that come on washi tape because they're just so pretty. But I find that even when I buy those types of washi tapes, they're gorgeous. I just don't end up using them very much. And this grid washi tape, I've been able to work into my planner on more than one occasion, which has just been fantastic. And I think it's because it's such a very clean and simple geometric type of print that pairs well with a lot of other things that I really like to use, such as florals and really dainty girly stuff. I think there's a really nice contrast between the geometric grid print and then the soft organic lines of florals. I love that combination. Same thing with the different types of like swirly, flourishy types of things. I think that contrast pairs well together and it really helps emphasize all of the sort of delicate girly features that I really like because this is such a structured geometric print. And it just kind of is very neutral. I can pair it with a lot of things and it just works really well. It's an interesting shade of gold though. It almost looks a little bit orange tinted, just in like the brightness of the gold. And I'm someone who really likes yellow gold. Like I like hot gold in my spreads. I prefer that over light gold. But if you're someone who likes light gold, this is going to feel like incredibly bold for you, because this for me, even against like my hot yellow gold, this the gold in this washi tape is very strong. It's very bold, but I love that about it. I really like strong, bold colors. So this was definitely first on my list of favorites this month and totally something I had to share with you all. Next, also utilized on my dashboard page, had to talk about these hibiscus deco florals from Sadie Stickers. These were a $2 Tuesday she released, and I used them in my dashboard spread, and I had to include this in my favorites for this month because this one really surprised me. Prior to this, I'd been using the wildflowers from Honey Inked quite a bit, and these are much thinner, much more dainty and streamlined in the design of them, whereas these flowers were like very bold in the amount of foil in the design of them just by the nature of the petals. And so visually when you put that down, it's got more of a much bolder punch on the page visually than sort of like the thin vines and leaves and florals, and more of that like wildflower style of foiled floral. Jeez, oh, those words combined together, so difficult. That thinner foiled floral such a different look that you get on the page because it's a little bit more sparse in the way it is on the page, whereas this is just a much more densely packed punch of foil. But this caught my attention immediately because I was looking at that and then thinking ahead to like the potential of using something like this again in my planner, because I fell in love with the way it looked once I put it on the page. I was a little bit nervous at first, thinking, oh, that might be too bold, it might be too much, but it wasn't. I loved it so much, and I used it like all over this page because I put it down once and I was just like, oh my god, this is so gorgeous, and I just like kept layering it with everything because it just looked so good. And so, but I was looking at this and I immediately thought these hibiscus florals almost like reminded me of poinsettias. And I was thinking, oh my god, if she released like poinsettias for holiday, for Christmas and stuff, that would be so stinking cute, and it would look really good, and I would love using that in like a Christmas spread, because I really just do love how bold these florals are. And I can't think of another flower like this that I would really love for fall, although I'm sure there probably is. I'm just not as well versed on florals, but when I saw it, my first thought was that would look so cute as a poinsettia for Christmas, and I was just like, oh, I would love like a super foiled poinsettia that was just like bold and dramatic on the page. It just looked like bam, pop of foil, just so gorgeous. My next favorite is not this entire sheet. This is the Tiny Sea Life Decos from Honey Inked. But what I'm specifically highlighting as a favorite from this sheet is one of the things that's only 2 stickers of it left on this sheet. That is how much I have been using this. And this is the rose gold one. I feel like I also used the gold one in my spread. Yes, I did. I used the gold one in my spread for, what was this? The Week of the Summer Planner collab. And what it is this little dot cluster. And I was so excited because actually, I want to say it was like 2 days ago now, I was looking at Honey Inked's website and found out she does indeed have full sheets of this sticker. So I just ordered some full sheets of these because I got this on this Tiny Sea Life Decos sampler sheet, which was really fantastic because it gives you a mix of the seashells and different things like that, and all of those little embellishments are super adorable. But these little dots, this dot cluster is just so fantastic. Let me like carefully lift that up. I don't know why I felt like I needed to lift it up for you guys to see it, because it's like on the page. I've pointed to it several times and now I'm going to struggle to put it back. Oh, yikes, that was a bad decision on my part. But I really love this dot cluster. I love the shape of it. I love the fact that there are varying sizes of the dots, and it's not a large cluster. I think that's the thing about it. It's the shape of the cluster itself, because a lot of times I'm trying to accent small spaces. I've got a mix of clusters here, so I'm trying not to point to the other one because this is a totally different cluster from Sadie Stickers, and that's got stars in it. And I think that's the other thing that I should probably point out, because this doesn't have a mix of stars or anything else in it. It's just the dots, and that keeps it incredibly neutral and makes it so that it goes with every single one of my spreads, no matter what I'm using, no matter what I'm pairing it with. And I felt like stars are not like a bad thing because they tend to be neutral. Stars, bows, dots, and circles and things like that tend to be, and florals for sure, tend to be very common neutral things that don't signify any sort of like holiday or specific season. And that's why they're very commonly used in a lot of things for the planner community, because you can pair it with a lot of different things in terms of like your accents. But even with that, even with the fact that stars can be neutral, I really loved the fact that this was just dots. It was really small in scale. It was kiss cut. I had varying dot sizes, and the shape of the cluster was just a really nice shape. It just, the dots just sort of fan out in a really nice way. And so I really enjoy using it as a tiny accent on the page. And it just pairs well with so many different things. I've used it so far in gold and in rose gold. I didn't have any in silver, but I did just order some because I absolutely know I'm going to get tons of use out of it and going to continue reaching for those. I'm so glad I'm going to have full sheets of them, because as you can see just from this, and I want to say it wasn't all on one spread, but I feel like there were probably like 2 spreads. I went through quite a bit of these really rapidly. hence why I only have 2 left, and just absolutely loved using these dot clusters this month. Such a favorite. Okay, we can stay right here for this next favorite. These are the lace trim dividers from Sadie Stickers. And I mean, without doubt, I have to stop and give credit to Plans with Brit on Instagram. She was the first person I saw trim her date covers with this specific trim from Sadie Stickers. And I remember when I saw that, it was what sort of kicked off the decorating date covers trend for me, was when I started really doing more in terms of adding trims to my date covers. And then that evolved into doing things not only underneath our date covers, but on top of our date covers as well. I remember the interesting thing with this, I remember seeing her do that and not having that particular divider in my collection at the time. And so I started playing around with other trims and other like lace stickers that I already had in my collection. And then when I finally did get around to actually got these on like a freebie, I still hadn't purchased it for some crazy reason. It took me forever to just buy this specific lace trim divider. And I got it on a freebie, tried it out in my planner, trimmed my date covers with it, immediately fell in love and thought the shape of it. I love the 3 swoops that you get in just the length of this divider. I love the scallop detailing on the swoops. The whole look of it is just absolutely fantastic. It is a beautiful design and well done in its simplicity. It's not overdone. It's not over elaborately decorated. It's not doing too much. It's like just doing enough to be just like spot on, visually stunning, beautiful pop of foil. It comes on white and on clear. I personally highly prefer it on clear much more than on white because of the way that I like to use it in my planner. I absolutely would not like it if it were on white paper, because I think it would make it almost look chunky and stand out in a way that wouldn't let it sort of layer and blend seamlessly into the page, where it just allows the foil to just sort of speak for itself without any background paper getting in the way. But on clear paper, it just hits all the right decorative notes and looks so good. Such a fan. And last but not least on my list of favorites for the month of July, to I'm sure no one's surprise, because there was no way these weren't going to be included in my favorites for this month, we have these signs from my collaboration with Sadie Stickers. And what I did, and this is probably me being a little bit of a cheat here, because one of the things I've been trying to do is be really strict with myself in limiting this list to just 5 items so that I don't go overboard and crazy with myself, because I can talk about stickers all day. I am a crazy sticker lady. However, when I stopped to think about what were my favorite signs to reach for in the month of July from my collection, it was absolutely sign number 2 and sign number 3 in both maple and birch. These have been the 2 that I've connected with the most and first most immediately when it came to this collaboration collection that I designed and created with Sadie Stickers. And I know it's because of the time of year. So right now, both of these, the birch and the maple, are these very light wood colors. And so this is maple that I used in this spread here. So I have this as my hanging sign. And I'm working with this, of course, very beachy themed spread. The maple and the birch with this light wood, they feel very coastal and very beachy to me, just with it being that light wood color. I know going into fall and winter, the oak and walnut are probably really going to be much more appealing to me than these light wood colors, because that's going to get into all of those fun, rich, deep wood colors that are going to pair nicely with my fall kits and with holiday kits. But for right now, for the month of July, maple and birch are giving me life. I love these light wood colors. They're so gorgeous. I have truly, of course, been enjoying the colorful collection as well, because there's a colorful collection and a wood grain collection, but the wood grain is just, there's just something about it that's just like speaking to me right now. And so was definitely, I knew for the month of July, as far as looking at a favorite for me, I was like, oh, it's definitely wood grain, and it's definitely sign number 2 and 3. These are my favorite shapes. There's 4 different shapes in the collection. Signs 2 and 3 are absolutely my favorite. I find myself continuing to reach for these 2 shapes the most, even though I think signs 1 and 4 are also really adorable. These ones have my heart right now. And so I fell in love with these. I also feel like these two colors are pretty similar. The maple's a little bit more warm tone than birch. Birch is a little bit more cool tone. So if you're trying to consider between the two of them and just wanting to pick, so this is the maple here. It's a little tiny bit more warm tone than birch, which leans a little more cool tone. I think they're both fantastic and amazing and just like so great. And I think also there's just something about wood grain that just feels very neutral, even paired with this kit that's like super colorful. It's really nice that you can pull in something wood grain to pair with it because it picks up on like the sand tones and sort of the neutral tones in the kit as well. And that was what I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that's gonna look so good with this. And I just like immediately fell in love with it. I'm a fan of these shapes. I just think they're a lot of fun. And of course I designed it. So it is kind of awkward to like try to like explain why something's a favorite that I designed, because it feels awkward to talk about it, because I feel like people are like, well, duh, Tay, of course you like it. You were the one who decided it should look like that. But it's also just like really awesome and very useful in a planner. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like showing how I used it in my planner and not just saying, oh my gosh, I thought it was awesome, I love it. But not only just showing that, but showing, you know, how the signs can be decorated and utilized in a planner and why I think they're so great and why I've been using them so much. Just like all the other stickers in my collection that I consider a favorite. I consider them a favorite because I like actively used them in a spread and it was something that worked, because if it does not work in my spread, I don't care if I designed it. If I can't make it work in my planner, there's no point to it. So these are awesome because they look good in my planner, and that's why they had to make the favorites list for this month. Okay, we're going to wrap up this month's favorite video by sharing my favorite spread of the month, and this spread quite narrowly beat out my dashboard as being my favorite spread of the month. And I have to give a special honorary mention to my dashboard for this month because this was, when I did this spread, I was really excited about it because of the color palette I ended up going with. When I think about the month of July, I always think patriotic colors and the American flag colors. I always think blues and navies. And because of that, I tend to always use blue when I do my dashboard and even like my monthly spread. And then I'll always use blue in the first week of July because of the 4th of July holiday. And I sat down to do this spread and knew I did not want to use blue. And I didn't know what I wanted to use that was going to feel like it felt right and was going to give me the right mood and the right vibe, still be very summery and make me happy. And when I decided to go in this very neutral, very brown, gold, almost monochromatic, in that we have a play on a lot of different shades of brown and beige and gold and all of that in that same color family. And it just worked so well. I was just really blown away and so much in love with the color palette of this spread and the way this all came together. Again, I'm a big fan of the combination of the grid paired with the florals and the very dainty touches to it. So I've very strong, happy feelings about this particular spread. But for the favorite, I had to go with this one for a couple of reasons. This frame is also from my collab collection with Sadie Stickers. This was the time where I really felt like I was able to execute my original vision for the frames. When I originally thought of them, what I had in mind for the frames and having them be hollow in the center was having the opportunity to layer where things were both tucked under and coming out and over the frame. And it's really interesting because I hadn't had stickers in my collection like that before until this collection was released. And so this month was about a lot of experimenting for me and playing around with them and trying to figure out how to use this thing that I thought I was going to enjoy. And then once I actually had it in hand and had a chance to start playing with it, was about sort of seeing it, you know, if I could execute what was in my head and put it down on the page. And it takes a while to sort of play play around with new techniques before you find your groove with them. And this was the moment where I felt like when I did that layering for that month section in my sidebar, was one of the happiest sort of layering sections I'd done with my frames so far. I really enjoyed using that frame in the top of that sidebar, and I love how that came together. I'm also incredibly obsessed with this bicycle at the bottom of the sidebar. This was actually a leftover from the monthly spread. I'd purchased both the monthly kit in this artwork from Sadie Stickers and the weekly kit because I fell in love with this artwork like crazy. It's a lot of pink plus rose gold and bicycles and flowers. It was just like screaming my name. This artwork was just like tailor-made for me. So I don't always pick up the matching monthly and weekly kits that gets released from Sadie Stickers, but this month, oh, your girl was getting this kit in both formats. And I'm so glad I did, because I had the leftover bicycle from the monthly kit that I was able to pull into the weekly spread. It matched perfectly. It added this really perfect, unique touch in the bottom of my sidebar that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't purchased that deco sheet, which you actually don't have to purchase the monthly kit, by the way, to get the deco sheet that coordinates with the monthly kit, because it is sold separately. So, there's, in case you are picking up a kit from Sadie Stickers and you happen to get the one that's labeled for the month, because she always does one kit that's like named after the month, and there's a coordinating monthly kit deco sheet. So you get a larger deco sheet with really fun images and deco images on there, and you can do some really great creative things with them. And that was what I loved about this spread. Also, this spread just like totally kills me because I really didn't have very much to mark, period. And so what ended up happening was I went sort of overboard in my decorating with this particular spread, because I had a lot of opportunity to just do really dramatic, ornate things, use lots of large elements in my spread and lots of large florals. I made sure to utilize my scalloped half circles with florals coming out of them, the large circle from Bloom Paper Studio, because it takes up a lot of space to utilize my half boxes vertically rather than horizontally. And so I got to try out a lot of different techniques on this spread that I don't always do, because other times I have more to fill in my columns, and I didn't have as much this week because I was sick for like 4 or 5 days of this week. And so it left me with a lot of opportunity to really push myself in the decorating area. My God, I love what I did with the full boxes. This was a really fun experiment, and I started putting that down, and I was just like, oh, I hope this works. I hope this works. I hope this works. I was layering the vines from Honey Ink to between the headers and the full boxes, and then also decided to add a floral, and then I decided to split it down the middle because it was a whole flower, and I just like sort of placed it on top of these two full boxes, and I was like, well, the rest of this full box is split down this column. There's nothing, there's no overlap here. And then I just had this connecting flower, and I was like, well, what if you just cut out the center of it? And my first thought was, that's gonna look crazy. Don't do it. And then my next thought was, okay, you have to try it, because you just won't know how it's going to look until you try it. I'm so glad I tried it. I just, it's different than anything I had done in my planner before, in pairing sort of a double full box look where it's just completely split, even though there's overlapping elements connecting both boxes. It's still completely split down the middle, and I just love how that looks visually. It came out so good. And so I think that was what was really fun about this spread. I was able to take some decorative and creative risks, and even trying out, you know, marking span of time using the vines and the hanging sign. There were a lot of things that I did in this particular spread that stood out for me and that I was really happy with, and a lot of really fun creative choices. And that is why this is definitely my favorite spread for the month of July. I hope you all enjoyed watching this favorites video and enjoyed taking this stroll down memory lane for the month of July with me. I am such a fan and lover of planner stickers. They make me so happy, and I could talk about them all day. So I appreciate you all taking the time to sit and enjoy this planner sticker chat with me. I hope you're all having an amazing day, and I will see you next video. Bye.